Why is it that no matter how many productivity tips and tools you try to implement, nothing seems to stick and you end up right back where you started? Well, in this video, I'm going to be discussing the step that you might be missing in your approach to productivity and give you practical strategies to allow you to finally be productive in a way that feels good. All of the productivity advice out there, including my own, can be misleading. Yes, I share a lot of the tips and tools that I use to be productive, but all of those tips would be useless if I hadn't done this step first. You see, a few years ago, I was working in a job that I despised, and I was in a relationship that I knew wasn't working. These situations that I was in consumed my mind, and any attempts at being productive were futile. I was in a constant state of fight or flight, and I was using Netflix and YouTube as dopamine producing coping mechanisms to avoid thinking and feeling altogether. But everything changed for me once I acknowledged the stresses in my life were making it 10 times harder to be productive and improve in any area. I was stuck in survival mode. At any given moment throughout the day, I was either in fight mode, so I was getting angry at others or myself. I was in flight mode, wanting to escape and run away, or I was in freeze, where I would just sit on the couch on my phone and just procrastinate anything and everything. When you are in survival mode, it feels like nothing will help you. And it also feels like you can't slow down. Even when you are in freeze, endlessly scrolling, your body is on high alert. Even thinking about reducing overwhelm is overwhelming within itself. But don't forget, it might feel difficult or even impossible right now, but it is a choice whether you work out the steps you need to take to get you out of survival mode, overwhelm, burnout, and back to the person you want to be. I have a life reset template that would help tremendously, but I can understand how something like that can feel like a big commitment. So I've decided to distill the reset down into 2 simple steps. The first step is asking yourself 2 questions. Try not to procrastinate answering these questions. Your answers don't need to be perfect, but the sooner that you answer these questions, the quicker you will be able to start reducing your stress and overwhelm. The first question is, what has been working well in your life? Here you can list the big and small wins, the routines, the happy moments, the positives. Celebrate everything that is working. It's easy to forget through all the stress and negativity in our lives that there are still positives and happy moments worth celebrating. You can also learn from what's working and use that information to improve in other areas. The other question to ask is, what is not working well in your life? Here is where you list all the negatives you've been facing, the problems, the challenges, the obstacles. It's so easy to think that we know the problems that we're facing, but until you sit down and write them out, you can go weeks, months, or even years without properly acknowledging them. If you never acknowledge a problem, how are you going to take steps in order to solve it? So asking those 2 questions is the first step. And the next and most important step, you can start brainstorming the actions you can take towards solving these problems and overcoming these obstacles you've been facing. Your first attempts might not work, and in fact, they probably won't work, and that is okay. We can learn from every attempt we make. We need to remove the expectation that every solution that we try is the only solution, and if it fails, then we give up. Instead, view each attempt as an experiment and get curious about the outcome. If it doesn't work out, then that's okay. You can try the next one or the next one until you find one that's a good fit. If you start focusing one problem at a time, you are guaranteed to see progress. And the more problems that you solve, the less overwhelmed you will feel. If it helps, you can start tackling smaller problems or face the bigger problems. By following these steps, not only will you be reducing your stress, but you'll be creating the mental space needed to truly benefit from productivity tips and advice moving forward. Remember, productivity starts by addressing the root causes of your overwhelm first. If you are interested in building on these steps and find the idea of a life reset intriguing, I have a Notion template you can currently download for free. I'll leave the template linked in the description below. I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.